This is the video for tutorial for flowchart monitoring sheet FMS for purchase for projects. FMS for purchase for projects is divided into two parts, A part and B part. This video is for part A. So this is FMS purchase projects part A, and the ID given to it is FMS01A. 01A 01 is basically the ID for this FMS. As you must have already gone through the flow charts in which the number of decision boxes and the boxes are there stating different tasks. In the FMS, the flowchart monitoring sheet, these boxes are aligned in this format. This is one box, task 1. This is another box, task 2. This is another box, task 3, task 4, task 5, task 6, task 7, task 8. And this shows the connectivity to the other FMS, that is the part B. As this is the part A of FMS01, this will go to the part B of FMS01B. Now let us explain to you the criteria for all these boxes. As in the flow chart, you must have seen there are four criteria are there: who, what, how, when. Who basically defines who has to do the task or the activity. What basically defines what has to be done for that task or the activity to be completed. How that task or the activity has to be implemented or executed, or how it has to be done. And when basically defines the task or the activity. That is the turnaround time, the time limit within which the task or the activity has to be completed. Now, as you can see, this is task 1. This is one of the flow chart where it has been split into 4 categories. So let's start with the task 1. Task 1 states that purchase assistant will check and fill the indent. And how it has to do it? He or she has to do it using the Google form called purchase indent Google form. And when it has to be done, it has to be done immediately against the receipt of the indent. So this task basically states that when the indent is received by purchase assistant, by anyone from the project assistant or sales assistant or assistant, any indent which has been received. But in this FMS, only the indents received projects has to be entered. So let us assume the indent has been submitted to the purchase assistant from the project assistant. The project assistant will basically get the indent from the project, that is the site on which the project is being executed. So the site executive or the site engineer will send the indent to the project assistant. Project assistant will go to the HOD purchase of that site, get that indent approved, and submit it to the purchase assistant. The purchase assistant will check whether the indent is completely filled, and it is as per the format in which is basically it has been signed by the HOD purchase and the purchase assistant along with the date. So if you want to see the format, this is the format of the indent. This is how you will receive the indent in a printed copy. So this is the site indent number, the items which has to be purchased. This is the quantity which has to be purchased. This is the date and time of the requirement. So the quantity can be in this basically defines the lead time, the time we need. So in the order, when we place the order, we usually place it this time limit. As you can see, this section will be filled at site, and this will be filled at the head office. So the project assistant will do the signature here along with the date. HOD project will do the signature along with the date. And when you, the purchase assistant, will receive the indent, he or she will do the signature here and mention the date. After this, they will punch the data in this task. Now let's go to the task 2. Task 2 states that the purchase assistant will what it has to be done. It will check if the material is available at the godown or not. So, and how it has to check it? It has to check it using the stock of shop or godown. And this task has to be completed within 1 hour. So when that indent is punched in to the FMS within 1 hour, the person has to execute this task. Now let us so when the purchase assistant will get the indent, he or she will go to the stock sheet, check the stock, whether the stock is available within in-house, that is within the godown or the shop, and confirm whether it is available or not, and do the next step accordingly. So here you can say, which basically states that the material is available or not. If the material is available, we punch in yes. If the material is not available in godown or shop, we punch it no. So there's one more thing you need to know, that all the boxes, top boxes which are blank, it basically states the process coordinator responsible for this flowchart monitoring sheet. The process coordinator is the person who will coordinate within all the who's in the flowchart FMS, the FMS sheet, like purchase assistant, HOD purchase, then there can be PC purchase. This is a short FMS, so there are only three different persons are involved in the FMS, but there can be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 persons can be involved in an FMS. So the coordinator of the FMS is the person who is responsible for getting the FMS completed. So here we can see that for this FMS, process coordinator purchase is responsible. So PC purchase, PC purchase, PC purchase, and so on. Now, as when you must have gone through the flow chart, you must have seen the decision box. Decision box has two outcomes, yes or no. So similarly, we have outcomes, yes or no. For every no outcome in all our FMS, we mention it with red color. So whenever there is a decision box in the flow chart, we make a box in the flowchart monitoring sheet, that is the FMS, with red color. So this is red color, this is red color, this is red color, this is red color. So we can see when the decision box outcome is no, then task 3, task 4, task 5, and task 6 the outcomes for the no branch, and for the yes branch, we directly, when this is yes, we directly skip to the yes branch, which is task 7. We skip all the red ones. Red ones come under no condition. So let's assume that the material is not available. So if the material is not available, then this task 3 will be executed. In the task 3, it states that who, that is the HOD purchase, will finalize 3 vendors by the purchase assistant. How it has to be done? It has to be done using the vendor selection manual sheet, that is a vendor database which we have. From it, we will select 3 vendors, and this task has to be completed within the 2 hours. So what will basically happen is the purchase assistant will take the indent to the HOD purchase, or the purchase assistant will open the database herself, select few vendors, minimum 3, and out of which one vendor has to be the current vendor to whom the previous orders for the same item were given, and minimum 2 new vendors have to be selected to which the previous orders were not given. So these vendors can be from our previous database to whom orders might have been given uh, maybe previously, or new vendors can be selected from online or any IndiaMart or the B2B portals. They can be selected. So the purchase assistant will take the list, note on the list of the certain vendors, 5, 6 vendors, take it to the HOD purchase. HOD purchase will select then minimum 3 vendors. One will be the current vendor and 2 new vendors. HOD purchase can select more vendors also. So when the vendors are selected, this task will be completed. Now let's go to task 4, the purchase assistant. What has to be done? Purchase assistant will send inquiry to these vendors and follow up till the codes are received. How it has to be done? The inquiry has to be sent using inquiry format sheet. The format of the inquiry will be given to you. So you will mail the inquiry to the vendors, then notify them over a phone. So you will call them and tell them we have sent you the inquiry. So you request you to send us the quotation on priority basis, the best possible prices. Now this entire process, that is generating the filling the inquiry sheet, mailing to the vendors, calling them, and then following up them till the quotation is received. This has to be completed within 5 hours. So when you send the inquiry, follow up with them to send the quotations, and when you receive the quotation, then this task will be completed. After this, you will take the list of all the quotations, arrange them in L1, L2, L3, that is the lowest, then the higher than the highest, take it to the HOD purchase, who will then finalize the vendor from whom we have to purchase. The HOD purchase will finalize the best optimum vendor who has the best optimum prices, best optimum quality, and the best optimum services. So after this task is completed, we go to the task. This was task 5. Now let's go to the task 6, in which purchase, after the HOD purchase has selected the final vendor, we will buy the material. You will check whether the vendor is registered or not. So how it has to be done? It has to be done. You will check the vendor database and check whether the vendor is already registered in a company. If the vendor is not registered, you will take out the vendor registration form. As you can see, this presents here. You will mail it to the vendor in a format, ask the vendor to fill the form, sign and stamp it, and mail it back to you, and submit the hard copy in our office in person, or he can also send it over courier. After this is done, the entire process is done till the day till you get the form in mail. You, this process has to be completed within 5 hours. When you get the complete data, you will this task will be completed. Now, as you can see, the task 7, this is normal task, this no condition. So when the no condition task is completed, you will automatically go to the task 7. But if you can see here, if the in task 2 we check the material is available in our work, in our godown or the shop, then we did yes, it's available. Then we will skip all these tasks, task 3, 4, 5, 6, and jump directly to the task 7. But when it's not available, we will execute task 3, 4, 5, 6, and then go to the task 7. Now let's see what the task 7 is. The task 7, the who person is PC purchase. Now the process coordinator now is involved within the task itself. Till now the process coordinator was only following up, getting the doers to do the task. Yes, the PC was following with the purchase assistant, but HOD purchase to complete the processes, the tasks which are mentioned in the FMS. And now the PC purchase itself has to do one task, that is, she will take the purchase order which has been finalized by the purchase assistant along with a comparison sheet for which there will be the format, take the both documents, go to the director and get it approved. Now, if the director is not present physically in the office, the the process coordinator will scan the purchase order along with the comparison sheet and WhatsApp it to the director on the group. After checking the order, the director will approve the order, then this task will be completed. Now, this process has to be completed within the 60 minutes. So, this is the responsibility of the process coordinator to get the order approved by the director within 60 minutes from this task, or 60 minutes from this task in case it is yes. If it is no, the TAT will be calculated from this time. If it is yes, the TAT will be calculated from this time. So after the order is approved by the director, the process coordinator will obviously submit the approved copy to the purchase assistant. The purchase assistant will then issue the order to the vendor. How it will be done via mail, and after doing the mail, the purchase assistant will call the vendor, tell him that the order has been issued, so the order can be processed. This process has to be completed within 30 minutes from the approval of the order from the director. Now, as you can see in this, how it's written purchase order and order slip. Now, let us explain you what is. In material is not available within the godown or the shop, then we have to issue a purchase order to the vendor. So the purchase order is issued. But if the material is available within the godown or the shop, then we don't have to issue the purchase order because the purchase order has to be issued to the vendor. But now, if it is available in-house, we have another format known as the order slip. As you can see here, order slip. The order slip has to be issued to the godown, shop, or the site purchase. So we have another in which the purchase assistant will fill the data into the order slip and then issue it to the shop or the godown or the site purchase. For the purchase assistant, this will become the vendor then. Initially, this was the vendor, now this will become the vendor. Now, if you want to see the format, let's show you the format for the purchase order. This is the sample format for the purchase order. As you can see, this is the billing address, this is the delivery address, and everything. This will be explained to you later in another video. This part of the purchase order will be made in the software Tally, and this part will be annexed with the purchase order generated from Tally, and this has to be done in the G sheet itself. So all the terms and conditions has to be set for the order which will be approved by the director or the HOD purchase. This is for the purchase order to the vendor. As you can see, each purchase order has an office copy and the vendor copy. In red, everything mentioned is are the comments for your guidance. So indent number has to be only in the office copy, director approval number has to be in the office copy, project number has to be in the office copy only. Vendor code will be stating that generated from the vendor registration. Purchase order number is there, then date is there. Now let's see the order slip format. This is the order slip format if the material has to be taken from the site, go down, or shop. So this is the order slip format. Again, it will have two copies, office copy and the vendor copy. The vendor copy will go to the site, or it will go to the shop. The office copy will be remain within the office, and this is the copy which has to be submitted to the director for approval. Similarly, office copy has to be submitted to the director for the approval. This format has to be made within the G sheet itself. So you will have this format, you will make a copy of it, punch in all the details as per the requirement and the order, and send it to the shop, go down, or site. Now let's go back to the FMS. Now this is a complete procedure for the FMS. After this task is completed, then it shades the green color. The green color always signifies a link. So as you can see here, this was another form was there. It's green. This is also green. It shows now we have to go to the FMS part B. As this was part A, now this is part B. Now let's see how the data is punched into the FMS. Let's go to task one. Task one then. It basically states now when the indent, as it was discussed previously, when the indent is submitted to the purchase assistant, the purchase assistant will punch in the indent. Now, how it has to be punched? It has to be punched using purchase indent Google form. Now, this is the indent Google form. So when you click the green button, a hyperlink will be generated. So you have to click on this. When you click on it, a Google form will be opened in another tab. Now you have to enter all the details. So you will see what is the indent date. As the indent must have been received today itself. So you will write 2018. Indent number you have to enter. Let's suppose 3. Then we will have to enter the item. Let's say the item is wire 23 square mm black, and the length of the wire is say 100 meter. This is the item which was mentioned in the indent. All the data has to be copied exactly as mentioned in the indent. This will be, you have to copy it and punch it in. Say the quantity which they have stated is 20. It can be rolls. The unit can be rolls. It can be running meter. It can be kg. It can be square feet, square meter, and so on. Let's say the project is item 0203. Now we have to enter, punch in the indent also. Let's say add file. Now in this file, we will just submit the scanned copy of the indent. So when you get the indent, you will scan it using the application Microsoft Lens and save it inside your computer in a specific folder stating indents. So when you save it there, we will select the file from the computer. We will go to documents. Like this is a sample of the indent. So let's select this. Now this indent is a sample, so it's only written indent, but in your copy it must be the indent number. So you will write the indent number space the number. So indent number is 23 space 0203 is the project number. So this completely has to be written there. So when we check the uploaded file, we know for which project the indent is or what is the indent number, because then it will be very difficult to recognize the indent. Now let's press upload and press punch in, submit. After this is done, we'll close the window and go back to the FMS. Now let's go to the bottom row. As you can see, this was the indent we just punched in, and all the data has come inside. You can see this is the serial number is indent date is this. These are all the same with same unique keys, or the unique keys which were present in the indent itself. So indent date is this, indent number is 23, the SQ, that is the item. The item is wire 23 square mm black, quantity is 20 rolls, or 20 rolls are required for this item. Project is this one, and this is the copy of the indent. So if we click this and press this, we will get the copy of the indent, so everything is saved online then. So this is the indent copy. Now as you can see, as soon as we punch in this date and time, the planned time for the task came up. As you can see, everywhere there is planned, actual, done, or yes or no. Planned, actual, done, planned, actual, done. Planned is basically the time which states the time within which the task has to be completed. Actual time is a time at which the person who HOD, purchase assistant, HOD purchase, the doer is completing the task. Yes or no defines whether the task, when you complete it, you have to punch it. So let's see. The first task is check if the material is available within the gown or not. Now let's say the material is not available. So let's start with this task, because it is in the series. You can do it anyone you want. So let's say the material is not available. So we'll punch in no. As soon as we punch in no, automatically the time for the actual time at which we did the task gets punched in. Now basically you can see there are three colors: yellow, red, and green. Yellow basically defines the activities of the task which are pending, so which are due actually. So all the yellow are the tasks which you have to complete it within the day within the day. And red basically defines when the task is completed, but it is completed after the planned time, so it is late. So this defines red. Green basically defines the task completed which was done within the planned time, so this is green. So as soon as we punched in no, the planned time for the other tasks gets punched in automatically. So now let's see, this is the planned time. Then task 3 states finalize minimum 3 vendors. So what now, the purchase assistant will take the list of the vendors for those items, take it to the HOD. HOD will finalize minimum vendors. So one vendor has to be the current vendor, other vendors can be the new vendors, or the vendors from whom we must have purchased previously, or the new vendors from online or the directory or anything, or reference. We can select the vendors. When the vendors are selected by the HOD, purchase minimum 3, or it can be 4, 5, 6, 7, the it has to be punched in done. So as soon as you punch in done, the time will come here. And as we can see, this becomes green because it was completed within 2 hours. So 14/4/2018, 15:49, it was completed. 14/4/2018, 13:51. So basically more than 1 hour, 56 minutes. So it was done before. And one more thing you need to know, that all the tasks mentioning the purchase assistant has to be punched by the purchase assistant. For the HOD has to punch in done or not done. Purchase assistant, the PC has to punch in the PC task. But as the HOD purchase is most of the times is does not get access to the computer, so these tasks has to be punched in by the coordinator. So when the tasks are completed, the coordinator will know the task is completed. The coordinator is following up with the HOD, or she is following up with the purchase assistant as soon as the task is completed. Or if the purchase assistant knows, she can tell the coordinator, then the coordinator will punch in done. For the purchase assistant itself, herself, will punch in done. So now let's go to the next task, which states that the inquiry has to be sent to the. So the purchase assistant will use inquiry format, fill in all the details of and the quantity required, to the vendors, all the 4 5 vendors which the HOD purchase selected, them, call them, and call them to tell them that they must have, so tell them to send their best possible prices. When she has to follow for the quotations. When the quotations are received, the purchase assistant will press it done. So when the done is punched in, the time will come on the actual. So this is the time and this is green because it was done before. The process is after all the quotations are received, the system summary of all the quotations and arrange them in L1, L2, so that the lowest one, then the higher, then the higher and the highest, and submit to the HOD purchase. The HOD purchase then call the vendors to the office or do it over phone, negotiate with them, and finalize optimum vendor giving the best optimum prices, best optimum quality, and best optimum services. Then after it is done, the process coordinator will, she knows that the process has been completed, will punch it done. So when it's punched done, the time will come. Then let's go to the next step, which is the purchase assistant register the vendor. So now the purchase assistant will check the vendor to whom the order has been issued is registered or not. So when the if so, she will open the check the vendor is registered or not. If the vendor is not registered, she will send the vendor registration form to the vendor in an Excel format. Follow with it, get the filled form with stamp and get it approved from the HOD purchase, and then the vendor code will be generated. And then the vendor code has to be entered manually here by the purchase assistant, and then the done has to be punched in. So when this task is completed, let's say we were on this task, so this task is completed. Initially we have to see whether the vendor, so the purchase assistant will check whether the vendor is registered or not. So she will see if it's registered, she will punch in yes. When it's punched in yes, it will automatically become black and not required will come. So this will show that this not to be filled in the form in the FMS now. It can be no, or it can be not applicable. For certain vendors, it's not possible to get them registered. So this is not applicable, but we avoid this most of the times. So if it's not registered, we punch in no. Then the plan time will come. And when the vendors get registered, the purchase assistant will punch in done. So this is now the vendor is registered. Let's say the vendor code we generated is V0023. Let's assume this is the number for the vendor code. Now the vendor is registered. Now this was a scenario in case of a no condition that the material is available. You go down to the shop. Now let's assume another condition that the material is available. When the material is available, task 4, task 5, task 6 all have to be skipped. So as a doer, you must know that these have to be skipped. So for this, we did like this. So if material is available, the purchase assistant will yes. Now you will see automatically everything will go black, which has not to be filled. So anything is black, you don't have to fill it. So you will skip those steps. Now all these steps, 3, 4, 5, 6, they're all black. So these will be skipped and will go to it will directly go to the next step. Now as you can see, we did it. This is no and this is yes. So when this is no, we did all the data, we filled all the data, and this is it became all black and we came directly to this step. So this is a decision box. Now in case it is no, this plan time that the process to get the order approved from the director will be calculated from this time after the vendor has been signed by the HOD. But in case the material is available within the godown, these all steps will be skipped. So this planned time now will be calculated from the last step before the notice, this step now, because these are skipped, so the plan time will be calculated from this step. So now the process coordinator will take the purchase order which the purchase assistant has already made after the approval from the HOD purchase. Yes, the HOD, when the HOD purchase confirms that the order has to be placed to this vendor, then the purchase assistant will make the order for it. And there's one comparison sheet which states L1, L2, L3, L4, and so on, all the vendors which were considered order, and the L1 is the person to whom the order has been issued. She will annex that document with the purchase order, give it to the purchase coordinator. The purchase coordinator will then send this order to the director on WhatsApp. If he is available, person submit it and get it approved within 60 minutes. Now, when the order is, let's say it's approved, so it will press is done. So within 60 has to be approved by the director. So the process coordinator will follow the process coordinator basically coordinates all the which has to be completed, whether by the assistant or the doer or the director or the HOD, anyone. She has to follow it up with everyone. So when it's done, then the And the process coordinator will confirm the purchase assistant that the order has been finalized and now it's time to issue it to the vendor. So the purchase assistant will now issue and send the order to the vendor. If the vendor is party, that then this order will be issued. But if the vendor is shop or godown, that the material is available within the warehouse, that is a godown or the shop, then the order slip will be issued. So the purchase assistant has initially made the purchase order or the order slip annexed L2 document in case of the purchase order, then we'll issue it to the vendor. Now, as you can see from the shop, the purchase assistant will have to follow with the godown in charge or the shop in charge to get the prices of the material and fill it in the order slip. As you can see here, if the material is not, if this material is available within the godown or the shop, then the assistant still has to get the prices because this is the expense to the company. Because if it's within the godown, still the material has to go out, so this will be the expense. So the assistant has to get the prices from the shop or the godown and fill it in the slip and submit it to the purchase coordinator, who will then get it approved from the director, and which will send it to the purchase assistant after approval. Now the purchase assistant, the vendor copy to the vendor. So as you can see, there are two copies are there: vendor copy, office copy. Office copy is the copy which has to be filed within the office only. It will not be issued to the vendor. As you can see here, also office copy and the vendor. Director has to approve the office copy. So the process coordinator has to submit this office copy to the director. As the vendor copy, some details are not given, but in the office copy, the internal details are also mentioned. So the director has to approve this copy. After this, the order is issued. Now let's see, it's written how it has to be issued. It has to be issued using a purchase order or the order slip. And let's see how the data is punched in the FMS. Now let's say the order has to be issued. Let's say the order is PO/18/ the project code is 0201/ let's say the order number is 20. As soon as we punch in this order number, Google form appears. Click on this link and open this link. When we open this link, it says purchase order. Now we will mention the order date. Today we made the order. Let's say the order number is PO 180201. Make sure this order number has to be exactly the same as the order number mentioned here. So the same punched in. So 180201, PO 180201, 2020. Now we will upload the order copy. So when you make the order in the tally along with the NA of the conditions order slip in the G sheet, you print the copy, approved from the HOD purchase, and the proof obviously approved from the director. You will scan it, save it into the computer under the folder purchase orders or the order slips, which we will show you later on. We'll click add file, we'll go to that location. So let's go to the sample location. This is the purchase order. Now make sure all the orders are or the contents are in the format JPEG because they consume very less space. Now let's click upload. Now here I've written purchase order, but when you upload the order into when you save it into the folder, make sure there's order number. It is the order number is written, so it will be CFPO 0201/20, and let's say the vendor to whom the order is being issued is KRJ. So it will be CFPO PO/18/0201/20 space KRJ. So we know that whose this order is, because otherwise it will be all the data will get mixed up. Let's press upload. Now as you can see, the data will be uploaded into the drive. This is the purchase order. Vendor we were saying KJ. Project was Noida. Delivery date. Let's say the delivery date is say Wednesday 18th April. Now press submit. Now let's close this link. As you can see, all the data got punched in automatically. So PO number is PO 18020120, vendor is KRJ, delivery date is this one, then Google form is this one, user link, and this is a link of the order copy. So let us click on this to check it, to verify it. So as you can see, the order copy came there. So by this, we can check all the data within the sheet. So from indent copy to when did the purchase assistant check the material, when did the HOD finalize the vendor, when did the purchase assistant send the inquiry and got the quotations, when did the HOD purchase confirm to the assistant to issue the order, when did the purchase assistant made the order, then registered the vendor, when did the PC, the process coordinator for the purchase, got the order, then when did the purchase assistant issue the order along with the order, vendor name, delivery date, and order copy also, everything on a single sheet. This is known as FMS, flowchart monitoring sheet. Everything can be monitored within the single sheet. After this, we will go to the FMS part, second of this FMS, in which we will follow up after the order is issued. Now we have to follow up to get the material from the vendor, because we have issued the order. Now we have to follow up till the material is received to us at site location mentioned. There's one more service there that can be if the indent consists of number of items. As you can see, this indent number can have numerous items. It can 12, 13, 14, 50 items also. So here we will fill the form using this, and we will mention the item, and everything will be the same because only the item will change and project number and all will be same. If we, so you can see in this example, this is the same indent here. So this 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, around 15 times that to get all the items of the indent. So as these items are very separately, but if now when this item are punched in and we go to the order, let's assume this, all this has to be, all this will obviously be, if we, now for these indents, we can issue one order, two order to different vendors. Now let's assume this, these four items are issued to the same order, same vendor. So here we'll again we'll just copy the order number for all the four. As you can see, everything will be copied itself, so you don't have to fill the form again. So for one or all the items in that order, you just have to. So if we say for this item we issue another order, now we'll just enter the new order number, say 180201/21. For this, we will now fill the form. And let's assume for this, for these two items or three items, we issued the same order, then we will just copy the order. So what is the data? When we fill the form, the data will be punched in here, and automatically all the data will be copied here and here, and all the same data will be copied here. So this is how we operate this FMS. Now we will go to the other video and see how the FMS part B is punched in.